One of the most innovative companies in fibre in the UK is CityFibre, and I'm delighted to be joined today in Valencia by Greg Mesch, the CEO. Greg, before we start, tell us about CityFibre and what you've already achieved.
Well, it's been a really interesting and quite a journey. We're 7 years old now. We're publicly listed on the London Stock Exchange, so we're under the symbol City. We've started with a model where we did acquisitions of duct infrastructure across those secondary cities, and then we also built duct infrastructure under contracts with the public sector. So we've done 5 acquisitions, 9 metro builds. That's got us across 42 cities, and we have roughly 3,000 kilometers of duct and fiber infrastructure in all of those cities. We've also done 2 fiber to the home builds, one in Bournemouth, one under a joint venture with Sky and TalkTalk, where we proved all the economics. The one in York we built out over the course of roughly a year and a half. It's 14,000 homes, currently approaching 40% penetration in that footprint. So a huge success, where we proved all the economics and the quality of services and the uptake from the consumers. And then just recently we completed what we view as a transformational partnership with Vodafone, where it is potentially to build up to 20% of the UK, 5 million homes, and to start with 12 cities and 1 million homes, and we're right there at the start of that.
Tell us a bit more about the Vodafone, because as you say, that is really transformational.
Yes, it is, and a lot of people say, well, that must have taken a year to get done. It actually took us 7 years because we had to prove ourselves. We had to prove our engineering skills, we had to prove our technology, we had to prove that we could do it. And I think that's a huge credit to CityFibre to be able to have positioned ourselves in that position. But because we sit with core duct infrastructure across 42 cities, that's already equaling roughly about 4 million homes. And what we've proven is how we can take that core infrastructure and rapidly roll out a fiber to the home network or a fiber to the premise network off of that. And Vodafone's contract with us did 2 things. They said, number one, we can't conceive of a world where the UK has only one fiber provider, as in Openreach, so we need to diversify that. So having multiple suppliers of fiber was going to be good for everybody. So the framework is for up to 20% of the UK, and to start with no less than 1 million homes across roughly 12 cities. The other thing that's transformational about that is that because of our model and we have no legacy infrastructure, legacy assets, we can do it fast, and we can do it without any burdensome overheads or any fear of the copper revenue migrations. And so we can actually give a better economic value to Vodafone. So one, they get to diversify the whole supply chain in the UK, but they also get better economics to serve their customers.
Is there anything that Europe can learn from this model?
Well, I think one of the greatest things that we're all learning now is that, like CityFibre in the UK was a spark for the industry, we have been consistent for 7 years about doing this, and you could say that the entire move that BT Openreach is beginning to make, and the great announcement TalkTalk made last week that they want to do this, all of those are driven off of a spark, and we are that spark that helped to drive that. But I think the real message is, and that it seems to be lost on a lot, but because we have no legacy infrastructure, we have no legacy systems, we're not trapped behind the copper revenue dilemma, we can quickly roll out cities, full overbuild cities, and we can do it at a better economic value than anybody else. So the alternate operators are really where the governments and the regulators should focus, because if they focus their attention on helping somebody demonstrate 10, 20, 30% of their market more efficiently, then it will drive the incumbents to build more efficiently, supply better quality services at a lower cost for everybody in the market. So I really think the lesson is that it requires sparks in each of these countries, and those sparks are usually the alternate operators.
Greg, thank you very much for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Brian.
So CityFibre, a spark for Europe?